Hello, welcome or welcome back. I had a bit of a change of plans, which is why I'm making this video at the end of January. Well, it's already February, but we don't talk about that. Because I decided that if I want to make this a more long-term thing, and I think I would actually like to do that, then making a video every week is not going to be sustainable. It's just going to be too repetitive. I'm going to be boring myself to death, and I prefer not to do that with my time. Instead, I'm going to essentially make I don't know, maybe it's going to be monthly. Maybe it's going to be even longer. Who knows? But I'm going to try and make a wrap up, kind of talk about what I've learned, maybe what resources I've used, how the month went overall, learning wise, what went on, basically. So this is the first installment of that, and we'll just see where I go from here. Because honestly, who's to say? I don't know what I'm going to do in a month, but hopefully I'm going to still be doing this because I think it's a good idea. So this month, I had two main things I did, none of which feel super productive because they were quite easy, because after a while I just get a bit tired because studying for an hour every day, surprisingly repetitive. Who would have thought? I did, however, technically study Korean on on all of the days, but on 28 out of the 31, I actually did the full hour. On the remaining 3, I did either 30, 35, maybe 45 minutes at one point. So I'm still very happy with that. I think that's a solid achievement, and I'm quite proud, honestly. I started doing a good mix of things, and I want to get back to that, but after doing that for a little bit, where I would actually practice sentences and watch a class and repeat back, and then do some vocab and do something here, something there, I started to just write down grammar notes and summarize them because that's fun for me, and it was very easy, and I could just take notes and lose myself in that, and it made the time pass very fast, which is nice for me in the moment, especially if I'm doing it in the evening and I just want to get it done, but it's not very conducive to actually understanding a language. So I have now written down all of the grammar from How to Study Korean Unit 1, which is the beginner unit. So I'm just going to be referring back to it. It's also nice because now I've seen all of these grammar points, at least at one point. So when I see a sentence that uses one of them, I can be like, oh, I remember that. And then I can look it up and understand it better. And it kind of informs each other, I hope. We'll see. After that, I was like, you know what I can also do? I can watch K-dramas because I found this Chrome extension that allows you to watch subtitles in 2 different languages. So I just put my name, the Korean drama, and watch it with Korean and English subtitles. That was quite nice. I don't know how much I learned from that. There are some pieces of vocab that I learned through that, and they're very ingrained in my brain now. So that's nice, but I don't know if that's a sustainable way to learn a language either. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. After that was probably the most unproductive part of my studying in the last month, and it kind of continued over into February, which was me just rewatching a K-drama, but not even with Korean subtitles because they weren't available, just with English subtitles. I still understood a good bunch of things. I still had some sentences where I was like, oh, I notice how this is being used, and I feel like I can say this now, but it's definitely not something I want to repeat, not to consider it part of the hour. I'm going to try and make that more active instead of just watching a K-drama. I'm going to try and substitute with that and just make it an additional thing. I already watch K-dramas in my free time anyway, so that's the idea. If I have a day or a whole week or whatever where I'm just going to be watching K-dramas, that's fine. I'm not going to be hard on myself. I'm trying to learn a language, but I'm not going to do that by making myself feel bad if I'm not being the most productive I can be every day. I don't think that's healthy, and I don't want to do that. I do feel like I learned a bunch of things, and actually I had one idea towards the end of the month, last week, and I think I'm going to be pursuing that. I tried it a little bit and it worked so far, which is that I found a YouTuber who does Korean sign language introductory videos, and it helps me because they have English and Korean subtitles, and that I think is going to help me to remember some pieces of vocab a bit better because I not only connect them to a sound or the written word, but also to a gesture, and I think that would be a nice way to help me remember these words. We'll see if it helps. If not, I at least can say a couple things in Korean Sign Language. It's not going to hurt me, and also the motivation of, hey, there's this new thing that I'm learning, and at the beginning the learning curve is always quite steep, so it's exciting, and at least that excitement can maybe carry me forward forward a little bit. So those are the things I've done. I also studied with Memrise a bunch. I think there was one day where I just spent 45 minutes studying on Memrise. I don't think that's the way to go either, because I don't think I retained that much of that vocab. So I'm gonna again try and just be measured and like do 15 minutes of vocab and then 15 minutes of a class and then write down some sentences. I don't know. Something along those lines. We'll see. Maybe repeat a grammar point. But that's where I'm at right now. Again, I feel like I can say things a bit better maybe. I have some pieces of vocab that I learned. Overall, I feel like my passive understanding might have increased a little bit, but definitely not at the point anymore where I'm like, oh my god, I understand this and I understand this. But I'm still improving, I think. We'll see how it goes in February. Again, I hope this is helpful to anybody. I think it's like mainly just a way for me to see my own improvements and maybe come back to and be like, hey, this thing I did, I forgot about. That might help me again in like a year. Just thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again at the end of February.